Marty Supreme is directed by Josh Safdie, written by Josh Safdie and Ronald Bronstein, and stars Timothee Chalamet, Gwyneth Paltrow, Odessa, Kevin O'Leary, Tyler the Creator, Abel Ferrara, and Fran Drescher. And it takes place in 1950s New York and follows Marty Mauser, a young man who is also a hustler and ping pong player with a dream nobody respects, as he goes to hell and back in pursuit of greatness. This was a movie I admittedly had my doubts about for multiple reasons. I wasn't sure how the Safdies would fare on their own, and this movie got tabbed early as a big awards player, and I just wasn't sure that a 1950s ping pong movie would be a big Oscar movie, but after the premiere at New York Film Festival and all those first reactions, I got more and more excited until I had to see this movie at the first showtime at 12:15 p.m. on Christmas Eve, and let me tell you, I was levitating when I left this movie. I loved pretty much everything about it, and I honestly can see this going down as sort of a modern classic or a new American classic for a lot of reasons, and I think a lot of those reasons are Josh Safdie's superpowers. This is a incredibly well-directed movie. It has such an incredible energy in it. The editing, which Josh Safdie also does along with Ronald Bronstein, as well as the screenplay, which he co-writes with Ronald Bronstein, they bring this incredible energy to the movie and this kind of mixing of eras. So all the needle drops are 80s songs, and the score is very 80s inspired, and then Chalamet's acting style, along with a lot of the other members of the ensemble, are very modern and contemporary, and yet it all just works. It is this incredible hodgepodge that really comes together and is so entertaining. It's very reminiscent of Uncut Gems, a sort of relentless, anxiety-inducing, stress-inducing scenes, and they're just so brilliantly assembled, and Safdie will kind of have you on this main track with the ping pong thing, and then throw in this whole, essentially, side quest that is begun when a bathtub falls through a ceiling. And there's just all this crazy stuff. I love this movie, man. There's all this crazy stuff happening in this movie, and in some ways it even feels like a Scorsese movie, and that is no way a diss to Safdie. There's a big compliment. It has that New York grit and energy that Scorsese is so good at capturing, and that comes across even more through the incredible commitment to the period, which kind of is in the background largely, but really does a lot of work. The production design from Jack Fisk, the costume design, it's just always there and very consistent and very, very strong and just beautiful to look at. And this movie's just really well written in the way that you're examining this character so closely, and there's so many fun moments, so many thrilling moments, so many stressful moments, and there's about a half dozen times in this movie where I gasped, whether it was Chalamet saying something crazy or something crazy happening. There's just a real surprise factor to this screenplay and the way Safdie directs it that is just a real joy to watch. But I think Safdie's real superpower in this movie, and what has been the case with him and his brother and their casting director Jennifer Vendetti throughout their careers, is the casting. Safdie is just a wizard at this. The people he picks out to be in these small roles, a lot of these roles with a lot of other directors or studios behind them would be going to people who are primarily known as actors and are very well known faces as actors. But Safdie, and I imagine Jennifer Vendetti's interests, are much more in pursuit of memorable faces and memorable personalities. And so he's pulling in, NBA legend George Gervin and Ted Williams, the man with the golden voice, in the viral video from 12 years ago, and all these people from kind of different walks of life, and people who are very famous but not for being actors. He's bringing in all these people, and they're giving brilliant, fantastic performances, and they just make the movie and the world feel so alive. Every scene, everywhere Marty turns, there is a new, incredibly interesting person for him to talk to. And I do want to highlight a couple of those. Abel Ferrara is really terrifying in this movie. Just a really fantastic, really brutal performance. Penn Jillette of Penn and Teller, completely unrecognizable to me. My buddy had to point out where he was in the movie, and I was shocked. And then people like Tyler the Creator, he's so good in this movie. He's really matching the kind of contemporary energy that Chalamet is bringing, and he's just very entertaining, and Safdie just knows exactly how to put him in a position to succeed and make him really work for the movie. That stretches even more too, and probably my favorite example is Kevin O'Leary, who is like borderline fantastic in this movie, man. From his first scene, I was like, whoa, this guy has presence. And again, this is Safdie's superpower. Kevin O'Leary has been playing the asshole on a massive television show for 20 years now. He knows how to perform in front of a camera, and that is something that Safdie and Vendetti clearly recognize, and they put him, again, in a position to succeed. You need a big asshole businessman in this role, so don't waste time casting a veteran actor, just get an asshole businessman from real life. But, like, I was really kind of blown away by how, like, lived in O'Leary's performance is. Obviously he's probably drawing on himself a lot, but just from his very first scene, I was like, oh, he's like here. He's actually acting. Like, there's a character on screen. It's not Kevin O'Leary just delivering lines. Really, and I hate to say, you know, this has kind of been the joke, but I love that performance. Beyond them, there are still primarily actors in this movie. Odessa, who plays Rachel, a childhood friend of Marty's. She was just a complete revelation to me. I loved watching her in this movie. She's so entertaining, such a live wire, such an interesting contrast to Chalamet. Gwyneth Paltrow giving kind of a meta performance a bit here as this actress who's making this big comeback. You know, we haven't really seen Gwyneth Paltrow try in movies that much in the last 20 years, and she's really giving it her all in this movie, and she has some really impressive scenes. One in particular in a park where I was just really impressed by her, and she's clearly just, again, really internalizing this character, and it's just so clear that she's a movie star and one that we've been missing, which again informs the character. She's been this long dormant massive film star, and as soon as Gwyneth Paltrow's on screen, you're like, oh yeah, that's Gwyneth Paltrow. But you know, obviously I'm talking about all these people and I'm dancing around Chalamet. He's on one in this movie. He is unbelievable, you know, and everyone's been talking about this performance already. You know, this is his next level performance. This is him cementing himself. And yes, it's all true. This is a absolutely thrilling and frustrating character to watch. He's so charismatic, so entertaining, so young and stupid, so rogue, and it looks effortless. It looks so easy to be this character for him. And you know, this is a character who just kind of goes through everybody's lives in a warpath. Like, he just leaves this wake behind him, and he's just kind of on his way, and he's moving, whether you're moving with him or not. And Chalamet just captures the energy so well of this go-getter 23-year-old. And, you know, he's just thrilling to watch. I'm reusing a lot of words here, but it's really an astounding performance. And one that I think is a big part of the reason that this movie has a big chance of kind of becoming a new classic is because this feels like one of the most fantastically written and memorable characters of the decade so far. And it's just because of this incredible star turn from Chalamet. He is really what brings this movie all together. This fantastic movie that has so many great detours, and I haven't even mentioned the ping pong itself. Specifically, Chalamet's scene with Koto Kawaguchi, who is a real-life deaf ping pong pro player. And he has a great screen presence. Safdie just knows how to catch these things. And Kawaguchi doesn't say any words, and yet he's really, really engaging to watch. And the choreography and the action of the ping pong scenes is just so exciting. The physicality of them. I didn't know that ping pong could be so cinematically thrilling, but Safdie found a way to do it. And that's really the whole statement for this movie is Safdie found a way to do this. It's got all these brilliant strokes. It's 2.5 hours, and I didn't blink once. I haven't even mentioned the opening credits, which is in the running for like my favorite scene of the year, and the final scene as well are fantastic. This movie is fantastic, man. It's got this great energy, the 50s aesthetic with the 80s music, and the contemporary acting style. You've got this absolute masterwork of casting all the way down the line, this whole ensemble. Really exciting direction and writing and editing, and the score from Daniel Lopatin, which I haven't even mentioned. This movie's special. I really struggled to find anything I didn't like about it. It's one of my favorite movies of the year, and I keep saying it. I think it's got a great chance of being a new American classic, just capturing how dumb and ambitious and silly you can be in your 20s. I really, really love this movie, so I would absolutely recommend Marty Supreme. It's right up there in the running for my favorite movie of the year. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye!